name is Kevin, and I'm the Virtual Production Manager at LightSpeed Studios.
Since I was the only child, video games offered me a great outlet to keep myself entertained. And later on, I found this great opportunity. My roommate was working in a video company as a game tester. So I was like, you play video games for a living? Can you get me into your office? Because I would like a job just like yours. And one day when that opportunity presents itself, I start working as a game tester, and that's how I started in the industry. Prior to LightSpeed Studio, I was a senior IT technician for Midway Home Entertainment until my boss decided to open up the motion capture studio. Soon after, I got a call from Sony Pictures, so Sony ImageWorks, and then was wondering if I'm willing to go work on the movies. My first title was called Monster House, and then after that, I jumped onto a movie called Beowulf. And at that time, I got sent to Carpinteria to work with Robert Zemeckis directly. And that was one of the best times that I ever had, because the knowledge that I've absorbed from Bob is nothing that you can learn from college or from anyone else. So soon after that's done, I jumped to the studio called Giant Studios. They were working on this title called Avatar. I started working and then realized, wow, this is a James Cameron project. Working directly with the top director, knowing what he's thinking, what he's planning, that's a very valuable lesson. So after that phase is over, then the person that I used to work with at ImageWorks actually went to San Diego to run the visual art division for Sony Games. And then I finally made that decision to start working on the AAA titles. And slowly, I became a lead technician that operates everything on stage. Three different top executives from LightSpeed Studio under IEG division flew into San Diego to have lunch with me. And then in my life, I've never been treated that way. I feel like Tencent LightSpeed gave me a lot of respect. Understanding that Tencent is such a big company and they just started out in the United States, there's a great opportunity for me to go in. I see that great potential, and that's what brought me here today. Motion capture is a technology that allowed people or animals to act and move. And then later on, we're able to take that motion and transform that onto a 3D character. For motion capture, it includes three different essential parts, from pre-production to shooting to post-production. So what I do at LightSpeed Studio is that I'm in charge of the motion capture pipeline. My day-to-day work is that we go through a list of motion capture actor and actress. If today we're shooting military type of work, we'll find an ex-military type of guys. If we're shooting a certain type of kung fu moves, we'll find an expert for that. So once we cast the actor and actress, we move into shooting. In order to do motion capture, we have to use optical markers. And those markers need to be applied on very specific joints. The crew on the capture day will include one operator that knows how to operate the system, that can capture the system. And we have a shotless guy that are in charge of the shotless. For example, during this take, a marker fell on the floor. He needs to write that down, just so in the post-processing end, people can understand what happened to that take. And then we also have two other people on the floor that's in charge of video reference. From different angles, because we got to see how the character run and move. During the shoot, we got to figure out if there's certain type of moves we don't know how to shoot. How do we plan to shoot at? So for example, if we want to shoot some type of swimming moves, then we got to figure out how do we act like we were in water. Like we will use some kind of accessory, for example, ropes to pull people back, just so they feel the resistance in the water. So it's all about your imagination and how to bring that move into the reality. In post-production, the first phase is called tracking, which is to discover all the lost markers during capture. And we apply those optical markers onto the actor or actress, right? Sometimes imagine, two people fighting each other. They're wrestling on the ground. That marker is going to get covered. so it won't be captured by any of the optical cameras. So during the tracking phase, what we do is we try to rediscover that marker. And after we discover all the markers, we move into phase 2, solving. We pull all this marker data onto a scalable 3D actor that we can scale to fit your game asset. So after that is done, what we do is called retargeting. How do you retarget this onto your game character? After retargeting is done, we move into phase 4, which is called motion editing. Then the hand might not be on the waist, that we can key roughly the hand should be on the waist, but we're not doing the finger part. Then we're moving to the final phase, which is final animation. So at that part, we make sure every little detail is brought out in here. Fingers, facial, just to make sure all those are on track. And that's the entire post pipeline. The biggest advantage that we have here at the LightSpeed Studio is that we have a motion capture studio in-house that we can quickly validate any moves that we need to capture. And we use timecode generator to be more efficient to sync up all the data all together. While our hardware and software keeps on advancing, the visual quality is also improving. I hope to see revolutionary games bring on more freshness into the market and make games that are movie quality.